Welcome to GeoTrust video tutorials for SSL certificates. Today we'll be looking at how to generate a CSR for Apache servers. Let's begin from a command line where you have OpenSSL available. The first command line we will run will create the private key file. Note that the private key file will be needed for installation when you are approved and issued the SSL certificate. Type OpenSSL. Gen RSA for the algorithm. Now -des3, which will give the private key a password to protect the file. You'll omit the -des3 option if you do not want to associate the private key with a password. However, GeoTrust highly recommends that access to the server be restricted to only authorized server admins if the -des3 option is omitted. -out. Then specify the private key name and its path of where you wish to save the file. In my example, I will save the file to my desktop and name the file private key with a .key extension. However, you may give it any file name you wish. Now type 2048 for the bit length and hit enter. Note that GeoTrust no longer supports 1024 or less bit lengths. Since I used the -des3 option in this example, I am being prompted to specify a password. As you start to type the password, you will notice that it may seem like nothing is being entered. Not to worry though, OpenSSL is still recognizing your keyboard entries, so please keep typing. Once your password has been verified, your private key file will now be created. Be sure to keep this private key file and its password somewhere safe, as you'll need this file later for installation of your SSL certificate when issued. Now we'll begin generating the CSR based on the private key file we just created in step 1. Using the OpenSSL command line again, type OpenSSL. req -new, now -key, then specify the private key file and its location. Type -out, and specify the CSR file name and the location where you want to save the file. I'll enter request with a .csr extension. Now hit enter. If you specified a password for the private key, you'll be prompted for it now. OpenSSL will now ask for a series of questions for which the certificate you are requesting will be issued with. This information is otherwise known as the distinguished name. Enter a 2-letter country code without any punctuation for the country. Next, do not abbreviate the state or province name, as it must be completely spelled out for this field. Now enter a city as the locality, the organization name. Here you want to use the legal business name that your company is registered as. The organizational unit field is optional, but can be used to help identify certificates. You may skip this organizational unit field if you wish, but in my example, I'll enter IT department. The common name field is where you enter the fully qualified domain name. This would be the host name plus the domain name. Do not enter an email address for GeoTrust enrollments. Hit the Enter key to bypass this field. Also, do not enter any extra attributes being asked. Hit the Enter key for both the challenge password and the optional company name to bypass these fields as well. Hit Enter once more to create the CSR file. Let's now view the CSR to be able to use it for your certificate enrollment. Type VI, then the path and file name to your CSR file. Here is the CSR text that you can now use for your certificate enrollment. That's it. Thanks for watching the GeoTrust tutorial videos. For further support and troubleshooting, please visit our SSL support pages at geotrust.com/support.